Have you ever felt like learning a new language is too difficult? Maybe you think you're too old to learn a new language. Maybe you've tried joining a language course, but for the love of God, you just can't remember anything that you've learned. Or maybe you'd like to learn a new language, but you just don't have the time to sit down in a classroom. These are the problems that people experience while learning a new language. However, our language course, BasaBaso, is here ready to help you learn. With our innovative learning system, we can provide a more interesting as well as lasting way of learning a new language. So what is this learning method, you may ask? During the learning process, we will implement what we call an interactive tour into the syllabus. Interactive tour will let our learners experience what it's like to be in a certain country that they're studying. Still confused? Let's dive deeper. For example, you're learning Japanese in our course. Not only will you be able to learn with a fluent speaker as well as a native speaker, within our course you will be able to interact with the streets of Japan, the people of Japan, as well as the culture of Japan, all through a software that we specifically developed. In this software, you can walk around, talk to characters that will act as the locals, and the software will simulate a conversation. Within this conversation, you can reply with the correct answers. Very interesting, right? That's not all. Our course is completely online. You can learn anytime and anywhere with our software. You only have to join live online classes once a week to guide your learning journey. This way, how you learn becomes very flexible, more interesting, and leaves a more lasting impression. Let's take a look at how we compare to the industry.
Current language courses are largely taught by native speakers. They are usually taught by non-native language graduates. While it is completely fine for reading and writing, learning a language will be not optimal for listening and speaking. So something like accent and pronunciation are very important to learn in learning a language. When learning a language with native speaker, learners are essentially encouraged to speak more. Then the teacher can pick anything that sounds odd or peculiar. We are committed to hire natives to teach in our courses. Since our courses are completely online, we can hire people all over the world and do not have to compensate them to teach in an offline class. This will give us a flexibility as well as cost-saving advantages. Another problem in learning language is that they are boring. They are taught like any other classes would. Sit down, read, listen, and then go home. This may deter potential learners, especially elder people, as they wouldn't like to experience the boring atmosphere of a high school classroom again. However, the way that we provided our courses are completely different. Since our learning is based on software, it can be fun and more integrating, especially for older folks. Speaking of older folks, it's been long talk that the older you get, the harder it is to learn new language. While it is true to certain extent, learning a language can actually still be beneficial for the elderly. It can prevent and mitigate the chance of developing amnesia. With this in mind, we develop a whole new program. It's just made just for the elderly. The software will be modified for ease of use, so even the tech illiterate can still use our service.
Now let's talk about what we are changing in the industry. ERRC or eliminate, reduce, raise, and create. The first one is eliminate. What we are eliminating is offline class and also the hassle registration, including the printed document that you need to deal with. Next is reduce. What we are reducing is intensive reading and focus more on extensive reading because it triggers learners to learn the language better. We are also focusing less on the written rules. Learning a new language should be focused more on the communicative purposes. Even though written rules are also essential, practical and communicative language learning will make the learners retain the language better. Lastly, we are reducing classroom size. Classrooms that are too big tend to become ineffective as teachers struggle to manage and to keep up with checking everyone's word. Next is raise. What we are raising is hiring more native speakers because it can make learning activities more effective and encourage learners to speak more. We are also adding more interaction in the classroom, including more interaction between the teachers and learners, as the old classroom method is not effective. And creating. For what we are creating an interactive software that we call Virtual Language Trip, which will take the learners on a journey in a country that they are studying. And lastly, we are creating a course specifically for older folks, which they can benefit from learning a new language and is an unexplored market in the language learning industry. To compare our startup with the industry, take a look at this graph. That's all from us. We are from BasaBaso. Connect with the language. Thank you.